Afternoon, everybody. Christian here. Today I have a word to share with you. It's going to be all over the place, but it's definitely some cool stuff. The word that I have for you is turn. And this is something that harkens back to something that God spoke to me last year. I think it was 2018. I believe it was 2018. I'll have to link it up here for you guys to check it out. If you haven't already seen it, it's talking about your turnaround and how that will play out. What it's, I don't know, it's good. You should watch it. Anyway, I've heard other people speaking about it, and sometimes I don't even think they knew they were speaking prophetically, but I've heard like the president talking about turning of the tables. I've heard various other people talking about it, and this is just something that I'm hearing in my spirit. It's just turn. And so I know it is a final element shifting, completing the turnaround. There's been various videos I've talked about this turnaround, and the Lord has shown me before that I had partially completed it, and now I'm completing it. And it's interesting because at the same time, if you go back and watch that video, you know what I'm talking about. At the same moment in time, I'm actually going back into the thing that I used to do. It's something that trading and with other people is something that it's not new to me. So it's interesting to see those things being fulfilled, being brought to pass. And I spoke I think it was last week. I talked to you guys a little bit about trading and different pieces of information regarding that. However, there's more that you're not aware of that's going on behind the scenes. So I thought I would catch you up on some of that. First off, let me tell you, it's been a heck of a week. This week I have spent all this time working on just a dozen different things that was thrown at me all of a sudden. I knew the Lord was telling me, I want you to go into this field that I placed you in. I want you to share this knowledge with other people. And I knew that was the course of action. And when I brought it to you guys and said, this is what the Lord's telling me, many of you really started showing your support for that, walking that out, which is awesome. And because of your support, I've been able to do various different things. One of the things that I had set up to do when I talked to you guys about it was that I simply wanted to have some editing software that I've had in the past that I know is really good, and it would help me to teach you guys what it is that I see on a chart and things like that, and how it gets my attention to make a trade one way or the other. So I went out to purchase that software. I did purchase that software, and then it was installed on my computer, and I started messing with it, and it's been several years since I've used it, so there's some catching up to do. I had to learn where are these things at. But as I was going through it, I couldn't find certain things that I really needed. And so I started doing a little research on it. Come to find out, they've had many different changes over the years on the software, and some of the information and some of the things that it used to do, it doesn't do anymore. Also, I found out that the download that I had for Mac isn't the same as what I used to have. They have a different kind of, not all features are available for the Mac. And so I realized that the feature that I was looking for wasn't available. So I was stuck. I was like, okay, now what do I do? So I finally decided, okay, you believe that God is telling you to go do this thing, and go all in. Do what you got to do. So I said, all right, I have a computer, a PC that is not completely finished, but it's pretty much built. Actually, I got a Mac because I was working with Windows back in the day, and it blue screened, and I got fed up with Windows, and so that's it. I'm done with it. But there are certain things that I want to do or want to use that I can't without a PC. So anyway, I said, all right, what do I need to complete this project? And so I looked into it, and I needed a hard drive and Windows 10. So got those items put on there, and then built the computer, and then put it all together and said, okay, is this going to work? And the monitor that I had was so bad. If you're a trader, you're sitting looking at the screen all day long, it's just not gonna work. So I've been babied with this monitor and everything else. So I'm like, all right, now I gotta get a monitor. So it's just like been one thing after another that I've had to deal with. At the same time that I'm doing that, I'm also trading. I'm also working on trying to teach my daughter, who's this year she turns 18 and she graduates high school. So she's like, okay, Dad, show me how to trade. Now that I can trade, I'm a legal age in the U.S. here in my state, and so she's ready to take that course. And it's funny because it's happening at the same time that God is directing me to start sharing this information with you. And so for me, when I'm like, okay, how do I share this information with people, and I don't know their level of understanding and things like that, it just kind of set with me like, you know what, the best way to do it is simply to design the videos the way you would teach your daughter. And so that's basically what I've been doing, is just going over it with her, showing her various different things and seeing how she responds to that, if she understands what I'm talking about, or if it's kind of over her head and she's like, well, it's just too much information. So I've been refining and refining it. So I went from showing her the chart that I typically look at to the chart that it is today, which is so much more simple. And it provides you the same information that you need, but it just simplifies it. It really eliminates a lot of the noise. So that's been really big help. At the same time I'm doing that, I'm also behind the scenes building a website for this ministry, for this entire thing. And the website will be free for the most part. There will be, I'll show you how I trade, the different points that you need to understand. And then there will be like a section where I'll just, like every week, I'll share with you guys some video on trading one way or the other. Maybe it was a trade I was in, a trade I looked at and passed on, and then whatever happened afterwards. Just some element of trading I want to share with other people. There will also be a third part, and that's going to be a chat room. The chat room will be for people who just want to trade, inter-period with me or other traders, and whoever happens to be in that chat room at the time. So it'll just be that basic thing. You don't need the chat room. It's completely just for people who want to trade with me personally. And if that's not you, don't worry about it. You don't need the information. All the information you will need to operate will be on the outside for free. So I'm working on that as well. It's just been a lot going on right now, but that's the direction the Lord is guiding me to go, and so I'm seeing the Lord fulfill His word in my life and move in those areas in my life. And so I know it's the right thing to do, and I know also that He's telling me turn. This is the turnaround that we've been waiting for so long. It's something He's spoken to me in the past about, and it's just kind of bringing the pieces together, and we're starting to see this thing all line up. There's just so much I'd like to share with you, but you just wouldn't understand all the nuances, all the details. So I just can't. I mean, for me, when I show you guys a chart and there's a moving average on it, and you guys are like, okay, what do you do? Moving average. And I'm like, you have no idea. That moving average is so important. I mean, just little details, little nuances of the charts that are huge breakthroughs for me and, my trading style. But for other people, it's just a chart. It means nothing to them. So I don't share all the little details with you guys because I know it's just going to be kind of lost on you at this point in time. But I will be sharing with you more and more as we move forward. I'm not going to make this video any longer than it needs to be, so that's about it. I want to thank you guys for your support and for your words of encouragement. I know we have lost some people. They're frustrated by the direction that I'm going. I want to talk about it a bit about that for a moment. It seems like if I get up here and I tell you, hey, this is what the Lord's telling me, turnaround's coming, everyone's like, oh, awesome, I love that. But then when I come out and I say, hey, this is what God's telling me in the particular detail that He wants me to do, everyone seems to be split. There's like this, just a dividing that happens where certain people say, hey, okay, let's go. That's what the prophet says. God's telling him we're going that way. And other people are like, I refuse to go that way. This is not of God. I'm going my own way now. And off they go. And there's no sense in fighting it. You can't try to drag them with you or that kind of thing. It's just not going to happen. And I don't want to do that. I want to see that separation take place. But it's also prophetic because it's something we talked about in the past as well, that there would be this dividing, this separation taking place. So, I mean, I'm willing to go wherever God wants me to go, and I'll do it by myself, but I know I don't have to. But in this case, there are people who are doing this with me. But the thing that's most important to me is to be where God wants me to be. I know that if I walk in that, there will be success in that. If I go any other way, there will just be a hedge of thorns, so to speak. So it's best to always follow God. Even if you don't understand the course that you're going to be taking, if you know He's telling you to go that way, then go that way. Whatever the cost may be, it doesn't matter. The cost is greater to go opposite of God.